Good evening, everyone. Welcome to American Strings. I'm Larry Rogers. I'm Dean of the College of Liberal Arts here at Oregon State, and I am so pleased to have all of you join us for what I believe is the sixth installment of our remote version of American Strings. Welcome from wherever you're tuning in from Oregon and across the country for a great evening with Bob Santelli and our very, very special musical guest, Shemekia Copeland. And now to Bob Santelli. He's OSU's and the College of Liberal Arts University Director of Popular Music and Performing Arts. He's the founding executive director of the Grammy Museum in LA with connections to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Seattle's Experience Music Project. And he will give us a fantastic hour of entertainment with blues great Shemekia Copeland. I promise. Here's Bob. Bob, kick it off.
Thank you all for joining tonight. My guest tonight is Shemekia Copeland, who I've known for a long time and been a fan of for many, many years. Not only a fan of hers, but a fan of her father's. Her father, Johnny Clyde Copeland, was a great Texas bluesman and had the opportunity, maybe some of you too, to see him numerous times in concert, interview him. Wonderful human being. And of course, Shemekia is certainly following in his footsteps. Shemekia Copeland has a brand new album out called Uncivil War that we want to talk about because it is strikingly relevant to what's going on today and what has been going on over the past year here in America. And she is the kind of blues artist who contemporizes the music. She takes the blues out of the past and makes it very relevant in the present and projects it into the future. And that's what all great artists should do. So I'm very pleased to have her here tonight. She, as I said, is someone who carries on the blues tradition, but does it in a way that makes it exceedingly relevant in today. And so with that, I'd like to welcome Shemekia Copeland. Shemekia, welcome to American Strings.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Great. So look, I want to start off with obviously the new album because it's been getting so much attention, so much press, all great. It's been named on more than one from Mojo and Chicago Blues Album of the Year, in some cases, Album of the Year. It's a powerful record. It's your ninth album. Talk about how the album came to be. What was the source and the inspiration for Uncivil War?
Well, we started working on it in 2019, and we had no idea what would be happening in 2020 when we were making this record. But we certainly felt like things were uncivil and that things were not getting better since the previous record we made, which was America's Child. And we just wanted to kind of continue talking about issues, and that's what we did on this record. And it just happened to be extremely relevant to what happened in 2020.
You know, as you well know, the blues for decades actually has been a music form that was really steeped in personal tragedy or internal triumph, whatever you want to call it, but it was very much about a person or a relationship or a small community. You've taken the blues on this album and even America's Child, and you've broadened it. There are songs of conscience on there. There are songs that not only contemporize this music, but also deal head on with some of the most controversial topics of the day and things that other artists, particularly blues artists, might shy away from. What's the game plan in terms of what you're doing with this music?
Well, I am so fortunate that I get to work with extremely talented and very like-minded artists and writers. John Hahn, Will Kimbrough. We all feel the same way about what's happening, and none of us are happy about it. And we want to do everything that we can to put it out on the forefront. And so that's what we're doing. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a dream team. And I feel like there's so many people that have this whole artist should just do the music and not have an opinion. And I think that is so unfair and ridiculous. And I'm so grateful that Marvin Gaye didn't feel that way when he wrote What's Going On, or Bob Dylan didn't feel that way when he wrote Blowing in the Wind. And same with Sam Cooke when he did, A Change Is Gonna Come. this is what artists do. And I am so grateful to be part of that.
You know, I had Roseanne Cash on a couple of months ago, and I asked her because she's been writing songs of conscience, if you will, as well. Some really interesting pieces, much like you. And I asked her, does an artist have a responsibility to do this? Is this something that you call upon your talent to present cases, to inspire people, to inform people? Do you feel like it's a personal artistic responsibility to do this?
I feel like artists should do whatever they want to do. And that's why we call it art. Uh, I feel that way. I feel the responsibility to put things out there in this type of way. But if you're an artist and you don't, I respect that, because that's exactly what it means to be an artist. You do what you want, you know?
You mentioned that John Hahn, who's your manager and your basically your colleague when it comes to creating these songs, wrote some of these songs on Uncivil War, including Uncivil War and Clotilda's on Fire, the story of the last slave ship to come to America with smuggled slaves. I mean, some powerful historical references on this record. As a singer, how do you make sure that John's intentions are carried on through the music that you sing, but at the same time, you make them your own?
Wow, I really don't have to. He is so in tune to me. He's known me since I was 8 years old. So we think so much alike. We have so many conversations, and it just works. It's just this amazing organic type thing that just happens, and it's awesome. So I really don't have to do much.
Well, it sounds like you got really the biggest responsibility because you have to turn these songs into life experiences up on stage so that they're relevant for everybody who's listening.
Absolutely. And we had been talking about, it was about 3 years ago when they found Clotilda. And this is a conversation that we've been having for a really long time, because uh, slavery is something in this country that's just kind of been swept under the rug, and it's never been dealt with. And I feel like people let's just not talk about it. It just needs to go away. We're not going to discuss it. And we shouldn't do that, because it keeps rearing its ugly head with Black Lives Matter and all the things that we see happening right now. And it has to be discussed. It needs to be talked about. And I'm so grateful that I am. The sad thing about Clotilda was long after they abolished slavery, they were still illegally bringing slaves over, and they burned the ship to hide the evidence. And to me, the most amazing and relevant line of the song is, "We're still living with her ghost." And ooh, that gives me goose pimples when I think about it, because that's just shameful to me.
Now, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the ship. Wasn't it discovered in 2019 or 18 or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell that story for those people who don't know the story.
It's a wow. I would suggest definitely looking this up. It's a beautiful story. The descendants of the ship still live in Africa Town. They have a museum, or starting a museum, and they're trying to get funding for it. And I'm going to get you the information so
Right.
people can go in and donate, because they want to get this history out there for people down where they live. And I really want to help them do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was off the coast of Alabama, wasn't it? I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the great songs on the new record, as is, of course, the title song we discussed. You know, I wanted to go back just a little bit. You said you knew John at 8 years old, because John basically, he worked with your father, and you had, if I'm not mistaken, you had a very, how should I say, a privileged childhood if you were going to become a blues singer, because of all the people that came through your kitchen. I remember you telling me about that. Talk a little bit about the early years and the kind of, if you will, blues education you had.
Oh, it was great. I had my dad sitting around the house all the time playing guitar. So there was music, and my dad invited everyone into our home. There was a guy named Sonny who I'm pretty sure didn't really have a place to live. But he was a great musician, and my dad would have Sonny come in and play music, and then just all different types of musicians that he met would come through the house, and it was an incredible way to grow up. So even though as a kid I wanted to uh, fight being in the entertainment business, but I should have known it was inevitable.
You grew up in New York, in Harlem, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I think about that, you are growing up right in the really the birth of hip hop and rap music, which is happening in the Bronx, it's happening in Harlem, it's happening in Jersey and in Brooklyn. And yet you turned to the blues. Was there ever a sense that, wow, I should be doing the kind of music that my peers are doing, people my age are doing? When did the blues overcome you and said, this is what I want to do with my life?
It's so funny. I was always drawn to blues. It just did something to me. And I knew I was listening to something good when I got goose pimples, and none of the other stuff did that to me. So I felt like whatever I'm listening to that moves me, or brings tears to my eyes, or just makes me feel like I'm going through some sort of emotional roller coaster, that's the music that I want to be listening to. That's the music I want to sing and perform.
But with hip hop all around you and with rock, of course, all over the place as a kid growing up, yeah, being a blues or wanting to be a blues artist and a blues singer had to put you in a minority. Did that have any kind of, did you have any kind of peer pressure to turn away and to sing something else?
Never. I was an odd little duck, Bob. I walked to the beat of my own drum always. I marched to the beat of my own drum always. So people and their opinions never really bothered me much at that time. So I was fortunate in that way. So if I wanted to sing the blues, I sang the blues, and I got support. People in the neighborhood were like, "Go ahead and sing, girl, sing them blues," because nobody else was doing it. So it actually was a good thing for me.
Do you learn to sing in the church?
I did it. People ask me that all the time, but no, I never sang in church, unless of course it was a family funeral or something like that.
Mhm.
I did not sing in church.
So where do you learn to sing? Who are your influences?
Listening to records, and just at home with my dad, with him playing guitar all the time, that's how I learned. And so, oh my gosh, I wore out some records when I was a kid.
You sang with the great Ruth Brown, the great Coco Taylor. You sang with her as well. So were these influences on you as a singer growing up? And what was it like to sing with them?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible, surreal. Actually, when I met Coco Taylor, she was the first person that I ever met that when I saw her, I couldn't speak. I was just so excited and so honored to be in her presence. And so being able to get to know them and work with them was just incredible. Coco was so kind to me, and she gave me loads of advice and always checked on me to see how I was doing. Ruth Brown gave me the clothes off her back. I remember my father died when I was 18. My first record came out. We were broke. I didn't have a whole lot. And I just happened to be in the Vegas area, and she lived in Henderson. And I was telling her that I got to go to the Blues Music Awards, my very first one. I got nominated and all that stuff. And I don't have anything to wear. And so she just went in her closet and just gave me all of these clothes. So my first Blues Music Awards, I was wearing Ruth Brown's clothes.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
It
So
was a great woman.
I was really fortunate. And then she sang on a song that we did on my second record, which was "You Can Tell a Man Is Lying If You See Him Move His Lips." And I was in another situation, like trying to be in a studio with her, trying to sing with her, but I could only just watch her and listen to her. So I was just messing everything up.
How do you make sure that the music that you represent, that you sing, this blues, which, as Larry pointed out again, is 150 years old at least, how do we make sure that it remains relevant today. Because so many people who are blues fans love the old stuff, right? We listen to Robert Johnson or Muddy Waters or Bessie Smith or Big Mama Thornton or Howlin' Wolf. There's so many of them. And yet that was 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. And the topics that they're singing about are as old as well. Now, some topics, of course, are timeless, but still, it seems like you have a knack to taking what's important today and singing about that and making it not only relevant, but very believable.
And that's what I think. It's all about the content. And if you're singing about what's going on now, then that makes it relevant. And I'm hoping one day these songs are not, but you just have to evolve the music. You just have to. It has to be all about the content, and that's what makes it relevant. And we're so blessed and grateful that we still have all that stuff that we can listen to, and we can go back and play it all the time. And I do, so I know. We still have all the old stuff to listen to, and it's great.
Talking about being off stage for a minute, you say you listen to those old records. I know you personally as a student of the blues as well. You take the history of the music personally. What's your day like? Are you listening to stuff from the 1940s and 50s, or are you also listening to Beyonce and whomever else might be on the radio these days?
It's so funny because most of the time I'm listening to lots of new music because I'm a DJ on SiriusXM radio. So every day I'm on playing music, and we have over 100 years worth of music. So I'm fortunate in the sense that I get to hear the old stuff and the new stuff pretty much daily from doing that. And when my little boy comes home, he turns on Disturbed or Metallica, because I'm married to a guy, my husband, he was a total metalhead. So we've got Albert King records, and then we've got AC/DC, and we've got all that here. So
I can hardly wait to what he's going to sound like in 15 years.
I don't know what this kid's going to do, but he's, he listens to it all, and throw in there, Baby Shark, because he likes that too.
Well, Howlin' Wolf was kind of like the heavy metal guy of his era, right? I mean, he's some of the people that you reference, like Howlin' Wolf and Elmore James and others. They were heavy metal in their times from a blues perspective, for sure. But
yeah, I mean, like when you think of Muddy Waters, he was a contemporary blues artist. And now he would be considered traditional, but in his day, he was contemporary.
So, of course, with this, I'm going to kind of wrap it up here, because I know everyone wants to hear some of this music. But I wanted to ask you just a couple of questions. We're in COVID, this era of COVID. You're not able to perform. You have this incredible album. You must be itching to get out there and tour. So how do you take care of that itch? What are you doing to keep yourself occupied and relevant in terms of this new album? And hopefully,
well, I'm talking to you, right? I'm talking to you. I'm doing this, so that's a wonderful thing. And I did my first virtual gig at Jazz at Lincoln Center back in January, and it was really nice. And it's funny because earlier you were talking about how we're going to be doing these songs and you won't hear any applause. Well, that whole gig was like that, a whole show of no applause. So we're kind of getting used to doing this whole virtual gig thing. And that's what we have to do right now until things get better. And, that can hopefully help the itch.
When do you think you'll be back out on the road? What's the music business saying about tours starting up again?
Well, I think everyone's hopeful to get back, in the summer and fall, but realistically, I don't think it's going to be until 2022. So that's what I'm kind of bracing myself for.
And then in the meantime, are you and John still working on new material now? What can we expect as a follow-up to Uncivil War?
I feel a trilogy coming on, Bob. I really do. Things are, Yeah, we still have a whole lot of work to do. So I feel a trilogy coming on. It'll be a lot like the last two
Yeah.
records.
With America's Child, which I highly recommend, and of course Uncivil War, this brilliant new album. I have to tell you, it's one of your best. I know it's what, album number 9, and I've charted you and watched the progression of artistic maturity and really that self-confidence that all great artists need. And not only is it there in heavy doses in Uncivil War, but there's a determination I hear in your spirit and your voice. It's really impressive and very inspiring. So thank you on behalf of your fans for a job well done there, and a song and an album that not only entertains but inspires and teaches as well.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a whole lot coming from you, and I really appreciate it. And
Sure.
I'm gonna keep on doing what I can.
Speaking of keeping on, we had a great little sound check before our audience joined us, and I'm hoping you'll call back your fellow musicians there and treat us to a few songs before you leave.
Absolutely, they're coming, and we're gonna do it. Let me back up here a little bit and make sure I'm in a good spot. Can y'all see me out there? Arthur Nielsen here on guitar, Willie Scanlon on guitar. We're gonna do a few songs. The first one is "Money Makes You Ugly." I feel like there's you were talking about the fires in Oregon, and things like that, and what's happening in the world right now as far as global warming and things like that. So this song is a little bit about that, and just and greed. So. The ice is melting and my lawn's on fire. World's got a fever getting higher and higher. Scraping Mother Nature, cracking up the earth, selling off the land for all that it's worth. Just a little blue rock flying through space. Whoever told you that you own this place? Money makes you ugly, baby, that's the truth. Money makes you ugly, you're the living proof. One thing in life I know for sure, money makes you ugly. That's why I'm glad to be poor. We're drinking dirty water while you're sipping champagne. When do you think you start to feel ashamed? Your conscience was laid off with all the people you fired. Took back their benefits before they retired. The lap of luxury, it must feel nice, but one day your soul is gonna pay the price. Money makes you ugly, baby, that's the truth. Money makes you ugly, you're the living proof. One thing in life I know for sure, money makes you ugly. That's why I'm glad to be poor. You can have the best smile, money can't buy. Gold tops your lips, change the color of your eyes. But when judgment day comes, you're never gonna win. When deep down inside you know you're ugly as sin. Another hurricane is coming, a whole bunch of waves. Yeah, just poison grandma's birthday cake. You turned a pretty garden into living hell, like throwing wooden nickels in a wishing well. It was good while it lasted, but there's no doubt. Will the last person living please turn the lights out? Money makes you ugly, baby, that's the truth. Money makes you ugly, you're the living Yeah, money makes you ugly. It certainly does. Well, we talked about Uncivil War. It's just such a shame, the divisiveness that's going on. People are not speaking. They're losing friends. They're losing family, all over politics and politicians who don't even know your name, which to me is just insane. So this song is about that. Oh no, yeah, I just changed. I know, I'm sorry. I just
Oh, okay, what are we doing?
we'll do Uncivil War. I'm so sorry. I'm already messing things up. I gave a list. I know. This is what I do on the road, so I might as well just, you know. I might as well just do, you know, do the same thing when we're doing it virtual.
No problem. I should be used to this by now.
24 years, man. Uncivil War, Uncivil War, how long must we fight this Uncivil War? Same old wounds we opened before, nobody wins in Uncivil War. The lines are drawn, gloves are on, smiles are gone, we're all talking tough. You curse me out and I curse back. Everything we love is under attack. The spirits are back in rags blue and gray. Thought they were gone, but they won't go away. Uncivil War, Uncivil War, how long must we fight this Uncivil War? Same old wounds we opened before, nobody wins in Uncivil War. You're sure you're right, I'm sure you're wrong. Why can't we all just get along? You yell fake and I yell real. Nobody seems to care how the other guy feels. Keeping count of each other's sins. Only problem is nobody wins in Uncivil War. In Uncivil War, how long must we fight this Uncivil War? Same old wounds we opened before, nobody wins in Uncivil War. It's time to chill, agree to disagree, cut out all the hostility, call off the fighting and bring it to an end. We can shake hands and be friends again. Nobody's backing down, some won't even talk. The table's empty, we all took a walk. He says left, and she says right. One says peace, the other says fight. One hand's a palm, the other another chance for love just got missed. An uncivil war, an uncivil war. How long must we fight this uncivil war? Same old wounds we opened before. Nobody wins in uncivil war. Nobody wins in uncivil war. Yeah. Nobody wins an uncivil war. I guess now we can do the one that I was supposed to do. So we talked a little bit about Clotilda, this slave ship that rocked us here a couple years ago when she was discovered off the coast of Alabama. Like I said, slavery is something that doesn't get talked about, but needs to be talked about and needs to be dealt with in this country. And I feel like it's still a shame that in this time we're still having to go through the same things that we did during that time. So we're gonna do this one for you. Coming for you, hear the chains rattle, turn you into a slave, another piece of chattel, across the seas, stormy waters, show no mercy, she was Satan's daughter, born to steal, bodies to sell. She had her own special place in hell. Clotilda's on fire of the Alabama coast. Clotilda's on fire. We're still living with her gold. She took souls on a horrible trip. Her morning song was the crack of a whip. Ones who survived died a long time ago. Most of them buried out at Old Plateau. But the pain and the memory will never go away. The spirit still lives by the shores of the bay. Clotilda's on fire of the Alabama coast. Clotilda's on fire. We're still living with her gold. She was a dirty secret, but God could not forgive it. But the shame was so great, she could not stay hidden. She's on fire. Arthur Nielsen on that guitar. Her flame no longer lights up at night. That dreams survive and hope burns bright. People still come from miles around to praise the folks of Africa town who rose from the ashes Matilda's on fire. We're still living with her ghost. Clotilda's on fire. Of the Alabama coast. Clotilda's on fire. We're still living. We're still living with her ghost. Yeah, Clotilda's on fire. Whew, whew. It feels good to sing.
Yeah.
I'm cooking in the background, so all I can smell is cornbread and chicken and dumplings back here. Makes it tough to perform when you're smelling food. I didn't think that through. I really didn't. Should we do
Walk?
apple pie and then walk?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is what I always do. I try to keep my own self on my toes. Yeah. So we've been dealing with gun violence in our country. Another thing that needs to be dealt with. There's so many things that need to be dealt with. If only we could just deal with them, right? And that's what this song is about. It's called Apple Pie and a 45. Mama's reading guns and ammo, sipping lemonade. Babies in the backyard, tossing hand grenades. Grandpa shooting dinner, some possum and some squirrel. Last night they ended up shooting our neighbor's baby girl. Everybody's so upset, every person in the town. But that can't bring a life back after it's shut down. Give me apple pie and a 45, AR-15, a shake on the side. Don't bother running cause you can't hide. Give me apple pie and a 45. We go to church on Sunday like the Lord told us to. Till the day a madman shot up all the pews. The blood flowed like water, just like cherry wine. The local undertaker said, you have to wait in line. 17 souls sent to heaven, 17 bodies to the grave. One man sent to prison, we're all hoping he'll be saved. Give me apple pie and a 45, AK-47, a shake on the side. Don't bother running cause you can't hide. Give me apple pie and a 45. Give me apple pie and a 45. AR-15, a shake on the side. How many kids gonna have to die? Give me apple pie and a 45. Bang, bang, rat-a-tat, life's over just like that. Boom, boom, pop, pop, when we gonna make it stop? Somebody told Bobby that he wasn't cool, so he ended up shooting all the other kids in school. The teachers were all shocked, Scout leader was surprised. Bobby was apple pie and a 45. Give me apple pie and a 45. AR-15, a shake on the side. How many kids gonna have to die? Give me apple pie and a 45. So my little boy is 4 years old, and that's his favorite song because he's a mix between, you know, blues and metal. And this is a song that he chose to be his favorite. He also likes this next song that I'm gonna do. I talk about my grandma Jessie all the time, and we lost her a long time ago, but she would really love this song. And I really love this song too, because it's called Walk Until I Ride. And I feel like culturally, that's what we've always had to do, make lemonade out of lemons and just keep hoping and praying that things will continue to get better. And that's our hope. And it's a beautiful thing to be hopeful. And you can be that way when you believe in a higher power, if you know what I mean. So that's what this song is all about. So that's the last one that we're gonna do for you. And I hope you're enjoying yourself. I'm having so much fun. You guys having fun?
Yeah.
It's been really, really nice to make music. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after this,
Can't wait
chicken
for
and
the cabinet.
dumplings. Yeah. Clouds opened up, rain pouring from the sky. I'm in the air, trying to flag a ride, but the cabs don't go to my part of town. They just pass me by, not even slowing down. So I'm gonna walk until I ride. I'm gonna keep my head held high. They can try to take my freedom, they can't take my pride. I'm gonna walk, walk, walk until I ride. Go in the morning, my baby child was crying. Fever he had kept on burning high. I grabbed the phone, dialed 911. When I told them where I lived, I knew they wouldn't come. So I'm gonna walk until I ride. I'm gonna keep my head held high. They can try to take my freedom, they can't take my pride. I'm gonna walk, walk, walk until I ride. I'm walking for the poor and unemployed, the hopeless and the hungry, and those who have no joy. We're walking for the refugees and those who have no home, for every single living soul who feels so all alone. We're gonna walk. That's Willie Campbell. If you ever stumble, reach out and take my hand. We're in this together till we reach the promised land. We're gonna keep on walking till our shoes wear out, until we reach salvation and you can hear us shout. We're gonna walk until we ride. I'm gonna keep my head held high. They can try to take my freedom, they can't take my pride. I'm gonna walk, walk, walk until I ride. I'm gonna walk, walk, walk until I ride.
Well,
That is Willie Scanlon on the guitar, Arthur Nielsen. I'm Shemekia Copeland. It was a pleasure and honor to be with you tonight. Thank you so very much.
Shemekia, you never failed to knock me out. That was terrific, terrific, terrific. Thank you so much for joining us on American Strings. And we hope that when you get to tour again, hopefully next year, that one of the stops is in Corvallis, Oregon. We'd love to see you in person in our home community.
I will be there. I promise.
Right. And you bring those dumplings and chicken too. Okay, thanks again. And all of you who have tuned in, thanks again for another great edition of American Strings. We'll see you next month. Thanks again.